KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years. Matson and the Adai Itano program. All new 2018 Kona by Hyundai, available at Cars Plus. IP&E, Fueling Excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm Loving It. And King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dedito. Always open, always local.
Coming up on your primetime news, new details are released after a pair who police say went on a robbery spree up north appear in court. Plus, the CLTC land scam investigation could be a long and drawn-out process. Kiani Mendiola has some insight from the Attorney General. And the University of Guam's Presidential Search Committee stands by its selection of the finalists after a troubled past is revealed for one of them. Hafa day, everybody, and good evening. Thanks for watching us and thanks for streaming us live, because they were on the run from police for weeks. 2 men are now in custody after being caught on video surveillance shooting up a local game room and robbing them in the middle of the day. Court documents have provided new details as the pair is also facing charges for a slew of other robberies. It's tonight's top story with Crystal Paco.
Police have apprehended the second suspect in a string of robberies up north earlier this month. Jesse Jose Nicholas Delgado joins Jeremy Allen Evaristo behind bars. According to court documents, Delgado told all to police that the duo not only participated in each of the robberies, but that Evaristo planned the heist and they'd split the cash. The first occurred at Lucky Land Game Room last Wednesday. One of the suspects opened fire at the wall behind the cashier, prompting him to hand over $2,000 from the register. The second robbery occurred at Palms Market in Jigo. That's where one of the suspects brandished the pistol and shot at the wall behind the cashier. The pair made off with $200 and the cashier's $200 gold necklace. The next robbery occurred at Ratidian Beach, where the duo posed as tour guides. When a husband and wife went into the water, they grabbed the couple's personal belongings. Though a chase ensued, the victim stopped when he saw one of the men pointing a gun in his direction. The pair made off with an iPhone, camera, and the tourist's cards and cash. The final heist also occurred at Ratidian Beach, this time the pair allegedly pointing a gun at a tourist in his car, demanding his wallet. They made off with $500 in cash. Through the investigation, police identified Evaristo and Delgado. Court documents state a search of their home revealed some of the stolen goods. Upon Evaristo's arrest, police found the handgun that matched the weapon in each of the crimes. It's also reported that Evaristo bragged about shooting up the game room. The men are charged with attempted murder, first and second-degree robbery, and armed carjacking, all with special allegations for possession and use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony, as well as vulnerable victim, in this case, tourist. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Crystal Paco.
Following closing arguments on Monday, the jury determined a mistrial in the drug case involving Raymond Martinez and Juanita Moser. The couple was on trial for conspiracy and possession of methamphetamine hydrochloride with the intent to distribute. It was during a traffic pullover in California 2 years ago that 8 pounds of meth was found in their car. The defense argued that Martinez and Moser were set up by Henry Alvendia, who they painted as a corrupt customs officer. The U.S. Attorney's Office didn't deny the fact that he was corrupt, but rather Moser and Martinez recruited him because of this to help in their unlawful drug activities. Each juror was polled, all 12 deadlocked. Because of the mistrial, Moser and Martinez will have to be tried again.
In other island news headlines, one man rushing to enter a game room was busted with drugs. 48-year-old Alvin Vicedo Rogacion was arrested and charged with possession of a controlled substance as a third-degree felony and operating a motor vehicle without a license. According to court documents, a patrol officer noticed the defendant appearing jittery. A search of his car revealed an improvised glass pipe with a plastic baggie, which the defendant denied was his. The item tested positive for the drug known as ice.
It looks like the Chamorro Land Trust Commission land scam issues will end up going to court. This is the second round of oversight hearings gets underway at the Guam Congress building.
Our Kiani Mendiola sat down with the Attorney General of Guam, Elizabeth Baird Anderson, during which they discussed how the controversial land lease situation just may play out.
It appears that the CLTC issues won't just be looked into administratively, but legally as well, according to Attorney General Elizabeth Barrett Anderson.
The Chamorro Land Trust case, unfortunately, will carry over past my tenure. The trial on that matter is scheduled for spring of next year. It may or may not be a little bit delayed depending on how the case moves forward.
Through a KUAM investigation, it was discovered that the Department of Land Management Director signed off on leases on land to several of the employees' family members at the Chamorro Land Trust Commission, some even jumping the line, receiving land ahead of thousands of other Chamorros who had been waiting on the list since 1995. It was earlier this month the AG sent out her legal opinion after reviewing the matter.
You have litigation, and then you have now this entire administrative review because of my opinion of what's happening administratively in the agency.
The conclusion, any lease issued by the Chamorro Land Trust Commission must be approved by its board, and leases can only be passed on to immediate relatives after an applicant has passed, making those leases awarded by the DLM director voidable pending board review, and those passed from living applicants completely null and void.
I see the two as separate tracks, but of course one has somewhat of a causal impact on the other. Obviously, the court and the Justice Department will be advising the judge that there is a moratorium going forward, and the Chamorro Land Trust Commission is trying to revamp its policies and procedures, which it should do.
The AG does solidify her confidence in CLTC Chairwoman Pika Farron's ability to investigate and remedy these concerning matters. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Kiani Mendiola.
All right, now Keani mentioned CLTC Chairperson Pika Farron, who started tonight's oversight reading a compliance report to lawmakers. In that, she says the media reports regarding the Barrigada Heights property initiated the commissioner's hard look at the entire CLTC program. She says existing laws will be examined and recommendations will be submitted to the legislature. You can read that status report right now on KUAM.com. Also tonight, defense began its case in chief in the trial against Jeremiah Isozaki, but not before arguing their motion for judgment of acquittal. Defense attorney Doug Moylan stated there simply was not enough evidence, calling prosecutors' case in chief a quantum leap that failed to prove Isozaki was guilty of conspiracy to commit murder because there were no other proven co-conspirators in the alleged plot to kill Guam Police Department officer Benny Babauta. Defense also argued that because Babauta was never threatened directly and only learned of the potential threat through police, there was not enough evidence to prove the terrorizing charge. Judge Maria Senzon denied the motion for acquittal, leaving Isozaki's fate to the jury. Defense will continue its case in chief on June 5th.
The head of the committee searching for a new president of the University of Guam stands by their decision on the top 3 finalists for the job, all not from here and one with a controversial past. KUAM's Nick Delgado reports.
The 3 finalists to take over the top job at the University of Guam have impressive credentials on paper, but one in particular not so much in the press.
I'm aware of especially that one finalist.
Bill Leon Guerrero heads up the Presidential Search Committee for a new president at UOG, a position Dr. Robert Underwood officially retired from but is currently serving as interim until the board makes a final selection. The search for his replacement began in March. A total of 60 applications were received. That was cut down to 9, and this past Tuesday, the search committee announced that Dr. Thomas Christ, Dr. Bruce Murphy, and Dr. Hamid Shervani were the final 3 that made the cut.
We feel very confident that we did an extensive job.
Leon Guerrero says extensive background checks were conducted on federal and private databases on each of the finalists. Additionally, despite complaints of sexual harassment and complaints and concerns about his management style from 2 different universities in which he served, Dr. Shervani still made the list.
We are aware of all the issues each of the finalists have in terms of their background, their checks and everything. And, based on our research and everything, we were comfortable.
And then there's the question of why not hire someone local? After all, UOG's theme is the natural choice.
We gave all the candidates the same opportunity as everybody else in terms of making the finalists. And the committee just felt that these are the 3 best finalists.
All 3 not from Guam, and all 3 some question whether they meet local law requirements that the UOG president must have knowledge and understanding of the people of Guam and Micronesia.
The key there is familiar. They've never been to the island. They're not from Guam, but they all have done their background search and research on the island and the culture and the Micronesia. And they've worked in various different cultures. So we feel that they can assimilate easier.
The finalists will be arriving to Guam for interviews with the board and college community. They will also be made available for interviews with local media. Reporting for Guam's News Network, Guahusi Nick Delgado.
Well, one of your elected senators walked out of session earlier this week to prevent his resolution related to tax refunds from being blocked. But when a vote was taken, it didn't receive enough votes to pass. So now Senator Michael St. Nicholas has introduced Bill 289, mandating several changes to the Organic Act of Guam via a vote during the next election. Whether we should petition Congress to amend federal law to mandate local money be set aside to pay tax refunds, and also whether the Organic Act should be amended to mandate a vote on tax increases. Additionally, whether the Organic Act should be changed to require that any effort to increase GovGuam's indebtedness by at least $25 million go up for a vote. The bill states that the vote would take place during the next election. And during debate on the St. Nicholas resolution earlier this week, Vice Speaker Therese Terlahi, among others, expressed that federal law is not needed to dictate how local monies are spent. St. Nicholas argued his resolution would ensure the public gets paid the money due to them. He walked out of session, forcing discussions to end abruptly because of a lack of quorum. No hearing has been set yet on the senator's bill.
Despite the Supreme Court's decision involving the governor's Tran bill, Adelup says it will continue to release tax refunds within months of filing. The governor had asked justices to rule that his bill to borrow money for tax refunds was duly passed last May, and a revote in January was unconstitutional. In an opinion issued on Wednesday, the court ruled it does take just a simple majority to pass a bill, but they did not and now will not rule on whether that specific bill was duly passed. Adelup respects the decision concerning the separation of powers between the branches of government.
Well, school is out for summer. That's what Alice Cooper sang, and it is true, as Guam DOE Superintendent John Fernandez says it was an emotional last day of school for public school students. He made his rounds at multiple campuses today, and while he encouraged the youngsters to enjoy their time off, he also asked them to be safe and to find something that will help them to be active before they have to prepare for the next school year. Graduating senior from Southern High, Ernie John Simillo, shared the same thoughts.
I wish you guys the best of luck. I hope you guys do something that truly makes you happy. Find whatever your calling is, and yeah, stay focused and stay out of trouble, and and just enjoy life.
Well, now that the largest agency in the government of Guam is gearing up for summer school, please, everybody, students, have a safe and enjoyable summer.
Stay tuned. We're back with more news after the break.
There are more ways to experience KUAM News than any other source on Guam. Download the KUAM News app for your Apple or Android device for 24/7 news, sports, videos, weather, streaming with KUAM radio, and important news alerts. And stay connected at home with Guam's first app for Apple TV. All available now from the App Store.
Half the day, I'm in the club.
Half a day, welcome to Two Lovers Point.
Half the day, I'm in the club.
Our mighty SUV mega sale is going on now at Cars Plus, and you're going to save big with cash back on every purchase. Get to Cars Plus and shop our great selection of Hyundai Santa Fe's, Tucsons, and the all-new Kona, Guam's most affordable SUV. Or our full line of Jeeps, like a new Jeep Renegade, save $6,000, or a new Jeep Cherokee, save $4,500 with rates as low as 1.99% APR for qualified buyers. It's Cars Plus, mighty SUV mega sale. Cars Plus, driven by you.
In this divided world, there are still things that unite us. Great music, thrilling games, and the love for that perfect burger. Ruby Tuesday Guam, for the love of burgers menu. For a limited time, get an amazing burger for just $11.99. Lunchtime at Ruby Tuesday Guam.
To experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
Welcome back, everybody. While we wait to hear whether the U.S. Supreme Court will accept a case that could ultimately have far-reaching implications on the voting rights of Guamanians and other U.S. citizens in the territories, the attorney leading the litigation is celebrating support from other jurisdictions that are similarly impacted. Attorney Neil Ware represents Iraq and Afghanistan veteran Louis Segovia. A former Illinois resident cannot vote for president via absentee ballot because he now lives on Guam. It's up to the highest court in the land whether it will hear the case. But for now, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands Bar Association, and leading voting rights scholars have each filed briefs with the High Court supporting Segovia's right to vote. The Supreme Court is expected to decide in October whether it will accept or reject the case.
As our brothers and sisters in the CNMI mourn the death of the late Governor Pedro Teno Pangilinan Tenorio, U.S. Department of the Interior Ryan Zinke also expresses his condolences. Zinke commenting the late governor's humility while carrying out his duties marks the character of a true statesman. Tenorio passed away this past Monday in the CNMI.
Well, one of the top priorities of Democratic gubernatorial candidate Leon Guerrero is the economy. The Bank of Guam president was the latest Adelup hopeful to appear before the Rotary Club of Guam, and in her speech, she said tourism will continue to be a pillar of the community, but we need to adapt an ever-evolving industry.
I believe it's time to thoroughly assess the changing composition and demographics of our current and future visitor arrivals. My administration will establish a tourism action group. It will be comprised of tourism leaders, and it will identify the most advantageous tourist profile for Guam and make recommendations on how we implement new strategies to attract them.
Leon Guerrero says another way to boost the economy is to push ahead with the medical marijuana industry. She says on a trip to the mainland, she talked with a man who ran such a business.
And I asked the guy, I asked the owner, I said, how much do they tax you here? He said 70%. They tax them 70%, and he's still making millions of dollars after the taxes. So why can't we do something like that, right? With the medicinal marijuana, get the rules and regulations, say from California, customize it to us.
Leon Guerrero says as a former registered nurse, she totally agrees with the medical effects of medicinal marijuana.
Leon Guerrero, in the meantime, and her running mate Josh Tenorio made it official. This afternoon, they filed their paperwork for candidacy at the Guam Election Commission. Lou and Josh are the third gubernatorial team to officially file. The team of former Governor Carl Gutierrez and former Police Chief Fred Berdalio, as well as Senator Frank Agun Jr. and former U.S. Attorney for Guam and the CNMI, Alicia Limtiaco, filed more than a month ago. The primary election is scheduled for August 25th.
Well, he's delivered thousands of babies on Guam over the years, and now local OBGYN Dr. Tom Shea has plans for a brand new 2-story medical clinic in the central village of Tamuning. A request for a conditional use permit to allow for construction of facility along Governor Carlos Camacho Road went up before the Guam Land Use Commission today.
It is a great day for Guam, a great day for moms, and a great day for the future generation.
Tamuning Mayor Luis Rivera says there were some safety and environmental concerns, which she adds have been since addressed. The GLUC unanimously approved the permit application during the meeting, with the physician hoping to have his new clinic up and ready by 2019.
The U.S. Department of the Interior comes through with more funding for the National Coral Reef Management Fellowship Program for Guam, American Samoa, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and the CNMI. Specifically, $200,000 is being provided to fund the second year of the graduate level program through 2020. DOI Insular Affairs Assistant Secretary Doug Dominique says it's designed to meet unique needs of each territory and provide valuable experience for effective local coral reef ecosystem management.
Please stay tuned, everybody. Dave Delgado is up next with our Game Changer segment, and this week he profiles a track star from the home of the Islanders.
Super Sale event. Enjoy huge savings on our most popular Samsung Galaxy smartphones. But this offer won't last long. So drop into a GTA store today.
Welcome to
No envelopes?
No deposit slips? Welcome to
Wow!
That's it.
That's really easy.
Welcome to the new Bank of Hawaii Easy Deposit ATMs for personal and business accounts. Just insert your checks or cash. No deposit slips or envelopes. Confirm your deposit and get a receipt with your checks printed right on it. Welcome to the next generation of...
Wow!
Cool!
Easy!
Welcome to tomorrow. Bank of Hawaii.
It's a celebration at Cars Plus and Mighty. And during our Jeep Celebration event, you'll save thousands on every new Jeep in stock, like a new 2018 Compass. Save up to $3,750. Or save up to $4,000 on a new 2018 Cherokee. How about a new Renegade? Save up to $6,000. Plus, buy today and receive a Cars Plus value card, where you get 21 cents off per gallon at all Shell stations. Hurry in for our Jeep Celebration event, going on now at Cars Plus and Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports. Thanks for watching. Let's get right into this week's Gatorade Game Changer. Check it out. Joseph Uggan is looking to break a few IIAAG high school track and field records while attending JFK High School. Uggan started training with the Islanders track team when he was in the 8th grade. As a freshman, he took bronze in the 400 meters and was on the national team that traveled to Fiji to compete at the Oceania Championships.
I started off in 6th grade with my friends because I just wanted to try it out because I never played any sport before that. So I just tried it out for the first time. After that, I started liking it. I enjoy the competition. Like, everyone's makes it more fun to compete and race.
The 400-meter race is his strongest event, placing in the top 3 this entire IIAAG season. He also has top 3 finishes in the 100 and 200-meter races.
When I first started the race, I can't really hear anything. Like, I just zone out everything. Then just wait for that gun to go off, because that's all that's important. The start's always important, so what I usually do is just sprint out that first 100, then glide the backstretch, then accelerate through the rest. The most important thing I think of is just get my knees up, go for that bigger stride, get that power to it.
Uggan competed in the Philippines and Taipei a few months ago, placing first in the 100 and 200 meter events and second in the 400 in the Philippines. In Taipei, he took first in the 200 and 400 meter races and finished third in the 400 at the Tiger Classic. Uggan says representing Guam off island is an honor and is something he takes great pride in.
It means a lot because not really much people get to represent Guam, especially for track, because track is like a difficult sport for everyone. So it means a lot to me just to have that jersey and run.
The JFK sophomore won 2 gold medals at this year's All-Island meet held at Guam High. Uggan took gold in the 200 and 400 meter races. He placed 4th in the 100 meter sprints, 0.1 of a second behind this year's bronze medalist. He continues to chase records and medals on and off island as a JFK Islander and national team member, and that's what makes Joseph Uggan a Gatorade game changer. Ethan Castillo's determination has earned him the chance to wrestle at the collegiate level. The Oakleaf High School student recently signed his letter of intent to wrestle for Reinhardt University in Atlanta, Georgia. His journey was tough and at times discouraging after he was cut from the football and basketball team. He found his love on the mats where he racked up 112 wins and 33 losses during his 3 years of wrestling in high school.
I got involved because I didn't want to go home and sit around and be lazy, so I wanted to do something. And the thing I enjoy most is the challenge and the camaraderie the sport makes with different wrestlers from different areas and different teams.
Ethan is a 2-time Westside Kiwanis champion, where he also won the Outstanding Wrestler Award. He was voted the most valuable wrestler his junior year for Oakleaf High School. His senior year, he's won tournaments in Tennessee, Tallahassee, and Gainesville, winning an award for Outstanding Middleweight at the tournament.
Just getting my hand raised, it's a great feeling, just being humble about it and knowing all that hard work being paid off. It's a relief because all that hard work wasn't for nothing.
He was on the radar for 9 different schools looking to offer a scholarship to the 138-pound wrestler from Guam. He's an inspiration to his younger brother and sister who also wrestle. His brother Mendoza finished in first place and undefeated this season.
He was telling me how my wrestling style would fit his program and be a good example. So he wanted me to send him my wrestling matches, and he liked what he saw, and he started talking to me, and we took a visit up there and started talking and about how things could go and what I could do and how he could make me better.
Skylar Blue Johnson will be playing soccer for Highline College in Des Moines, Washington. Johnson graduates June 1st from GW and will depart Guam June 15th to join the Thunderbirds in their Northwest Athletic Conference title defense. Johnson goes on to say, "I am very excited for the opportunity to play soccer at the intercollegiate level. This has always been one of my dreams since I was a young girl. To prepare for the next level of competition, Johnson has been consistently training with the Masakata 3 times a week and also engages in strength and conditioning training at New Gen twice a week."
Well, that's going to do it for sports. We're back right after this.
Beat the increase at Triple J. Buy now before the sales tax starts. 0 down, 1.9% financing, and easy trade-in. Now is the time to buy. Get into a 2018 Mazda CX-5 at our lowest price yet, only $19,995. Or our big boy truck, the Ford F-150, starting at $298 per paycheck. Or the North American Car of the Year, the 2018 Honda Accord at only $206 per paycheck. Beat the increase and buy now at Triple J. Visit us online at triplejguam.com and get pre-approved instantly. Trade-ins welcome. Some conditions apply. Triple J Auto Group. Customers first.
Seven of Guam's most senior citizens were honored today. They belong to a very exclusive club of centenarians. All are at least 100 years old or will turn a century old this year. They are Shirley Breidler, who turns 100 on August 20th, Julian Wilgus, who turns 100 in June, Cesaria Cruz Arce, 100, Paz Manjola Sablon, 100, Julia Blas Sablon, also 100, and Hei Im Yu Shim, 101. And Guam's oldest resident is Josefina Dorothea Yamanaka Blas, who is 103 years old.
That is amazing. All right, preparations are underway in the village of Agate, speaking of amazing things, for this weekend's Mango Festival. Vice Mayor Christopher Farron says this year is going to be bigger and better than years past, and it's going to include special visitors from off-island.
We have our sister city, our brothers and sisters from the Philippines, Benguet, Sablan, Guimaras, and also our sister city of Tinian, the island of Tinian. They're bringing approximately maybe 30 to 40 senior citizens, Manamkos, which they'll be engaging with our village Manamkos as well.
The annual festival features various competitions from best dessert, best booth, to the biggest mango, among others. There also will be rides for kids and other vendor booths. The 12th annual Mango Festival kicks off at 5 p.m. Friday with a coronation ceremony for Little Mr. and Little Miss Mango. There will be entertainment on all 3 days, and on Sunday, artists from Hawaii, our good friend Baba B, will wrap up the festival with a performance starting at 8 p.m. with fireworks lighting up the sky at 10 p.m. That is going to be awesome.
Sure is. And before we wrap up the news, here's your latest round of birthday shout-outs.
We are sending a very special happy day to the newest members of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club, led off by Colleen Salas, who has a birthday today. Hey, Sabrina, maybe a relative of ours. Also, happy birthday to Richard Burkhart. Happy birthday to a really swell search and rescue guy. He's so caring and loving, from your wife, family, and Hunter. Also, happy birthday to Jonathan Guerrero. Happy birthday to our baby brother and favorite uncle. We love you, say your family. Alexis Aruban, happy birthday to you. Also, happy birthday wishes tonight to Johnny Keith Ekfaji Blas. This comes from Darian, your sons Ian John, Darren, Mom, Dad, and the rest of the family. And also tonight, happy belated birthday wishes going to Mimi. This is Teresa Bernardo, and this comes with love from Tevin Joe. Okay, if you would like to be a part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club, just go on KUAM.com and register. Super free. You're going to make somebody's day, because that's what we do. But you know what else we do?
What?
In the mix.
That's right.
So what's coming up?
We have the Hagen Games. Nick and I went out there and tried to do a little bit of the challenges. Good for him, not so good for me. Check it out.
Closed captioning is brought to you by IT&E. In the Mix is presented by California Pizza Kitchen. Visit them today at the